Hey, good morning, everybody. Hope you've had a great weekend. My name is Eric Croft with Command Your Legacy, former PT struggler, 50-pound weight loss success story, and cancer survivor. With all that I just described, former PT struggler, 50-pound weight loss success story, and cancer survivor. I'm coming off a weekend, being with soldiers throughout the weekend, 3-day weekend, and taking a PT test and then running through a air assault course, well, portions of it because I have some of it closed off, that really showed me a little bit of resiliency that I've had in my life. With resiliency, with that, it's the power or the ability to return to original form after being completely bent and gone through ability to recover from any illness, adversity, anything you may have faced in life, and be able to bounce back from that, right? So back in 2015, I was diagnosed with cancer, unbeknownst to me. Even though I was kind of expecting it because we've been watching the precursors and so forth of what the potential was there. But I knew that because the potential was there to continue to check and stay on top of it. So lo and behold, I was actually diagnosed, and it's testicular cancer. I went through two major surgeries, or one really major. One was orchiectomy, the removal of the cancer, or the cancer infected testicle, and then also a retroperineal lymph node dissection, which I've got about a 12-inch incision in my midsection, where they had to go in and remove lymph nodes from my back. And up to that point, I was in really, really good shape. I had gotten my mindset to where I could overcome my struggles with PT test. And then I was faced with this cancer. So being able to go through this last weekend and passing my PT test didn't do as good on my sit-ups. I could have done a little bit better if I'd have paid attention to where I was at within the 2 minutes. I got a 79% on my sit-ups, and I should have gotten knocked out 5 or 6 more, but I wasn't paying attention. And then on my push-ups, got an 87. So, and of course, I have to walk because I've got a bad knee, but nonetheless, I still did the walk in a little over 28 minutes. So I was still kicked tail in the walk, and lapped several people with that walk. So it's not that I would love to run, but I can't. Unfortunately, they will not let me because of profile, but yet I continue to push myself to ensure that I stay strong. So we were going through this obstacle course. Actually, we were helping run the obstacle course, and I just jumped in on a couple of the obstacles and, climbed up a rope and went through Jacob's ladder, and several different obstacles. Only one we did not do is rappelling, but they didn't have that open. But we were helping these soldiers go through this obstacle course that had just enrolled into the Army, enlisted into the Army, National Guard actually. And they were high school kids. And they were pushing so hard through this course. Never been faced with this type of course before. Even though they were young, 17, 18, 19-year-old kids, pushing through this course. And they pushed hard. I watched several of them fall, but yet they got back up and they tried. They ended up getting through the course without having any regrets, without griping about it. They just jumped in and did it. They failed at the obstacle. They jumped back up and tried again. They continued to push forward. They continued to recover from their fall each time that they fell. And when they did fall, they had their battles there next to them, helping them get up over that obstacle. These are pre-basic soldiers, so they had not been to basic training yet. Drill sergeants were there, helping them understand the obstacle and to help give them that push they need. So it was pretty neat to see those kids have a resilient mindset in getting through these obstacles every time they fell. So I've got 2 tips for you to overcome or become resilient, and things that I did within my comeback of cancer, and now maintaining pretty solid scores on my PT test, even though I've got the 12-inch or so incision in my midsection. So number 1 is reset your mind. You've got to reset your mind. That's where it all starts. Setting your mind is the most important part in order for you to overcome any adversity in your life. You know, shift your thinking from I can't. If you shift your thinking from I can't, then you're going to take yourself places that you didn't know existed. You know, it's don't tell yourself you're not good enough, because you are. That's something that you put upon yourself. That's something you're telling yourself because you haven't even tried to be good enough. You're just automatically thinking that you're not good enough. Many people think, well, I'm just not built to do this. I'm just not built to get over something like that. I'm not built to be good enough to be the person I need to be in order to overcome an obstacle in life. You know, how do you know what you're truly capable of if you really do not try? You know, within that, write down the negative thoughts in your mind that's keeping you from achieving your goal and what you're wanting to get to. Write down what it is that you're telling yourself of I can't, I'm not good enough, you know, I'm not built that way. Write those thoughts down of within those 3 areas and see what you come up with. And look through all of those things that you're telling yourself and push them to the side. Don't say, look, I can't think this way if I'm going to overcome my obstacle and be resilient. Just because I fell doesn't mean I have to get back up. Or it doesn't mean that I cannot get back up. Second tip, take action. Just take action. Take all those things that you looked at, jump over them, and take your action in order to get through your resiliency and get back up off your feet. You know, take the first step, then take the next step, and so forth. And keep taking a step forward. Lean in and dig into overcoming. You have what it takes. You can. You are good enough. You know, by leaning forward, not staying in adversity, you'll push yourself into a new state of mind, a new state of being, and a different level of life that you never knew existed. 1 year after my cancer surgery, I ran a Spartan race. I was always scared of the Spartan race because they looked tough to me, so I was like, I can't do that. I'm not good enough for that. But you know what? I just threw up my hands and said, you know what? I'm going to do it. 1 year after my cancer surgery, I was like, okay, this is going to be my 1 year anniversary of comeback and being resilient and overcoming these cancer surgeries, and showing that because I changed my path with my PT struggle, that I was going to continue that and push it into a Spartan race and take it to a different level. I took each step forward in order to get there. And you know what? I did it. There were people there that were in worse shape. You know, there were people there on crutches. There were people there with physical abilities that you would look at and be like, how in the world are they going to do this? But you know what? They did it anyways because they had the mindset. And they were taking that first step. It didn't matter how they were going to get through it, but they were going to do it. I saw so many people, so many walks of life in that Spartan race, attempting to do something that was pretty challenging and doing it anyways. No matter what the obstacle was that they had in front of them, they did it anyways because they knew that they could do it, because they were good enough, they had the ability, and they could. You know, and through that Spartan race, I found out there were some things that I physically could not do. Well, there were some things. There was only one thing I physically really could not do. One was a sphere throw, and I just missed the whole target's 30 burpees. Here I come. But at the end, the very last obstacle was climbing a rope. Never done that in my life. I attempted it, but I kept sliding down it because I just could not get the footing right. Could not get the rope wrapped around my leg right. So 30 burpees. Well, this weekend, because of this air assault course that I took part in, there was a rope climb. So I attempted it again. I overcame my thoughts of I can't. And guess what? I climbed the rope like 4 or 5 times because I figured it out and I did not give up, and I was resilient in the fact that I knew that I could. I had my mindset right, and I took another step. And the result was me being able to climb that rope and then climb back down, climb back up, climb back down, taking the steps to get to where I wanted to. I knew that I wanted to, there was one goal in my life that I wanted to figure out how to climb a rope. So now I can do it. Now I know what to do. I know how to get up that rope and get over my physical or mental state of I can't. You know, I became resilient and maintained my PT scores in the same. Like I said earlier, passed my PT test with a solid PT test with 79 sit-ups, which I definitely could have done better, and push-ups almost hit 90%. Never did I say I can't. Tony Robbins quote, because if you can't, you must. If you must, you can. I can. That's where it ends. Be resilient in I can, and I will, and I am, and I'm able. Because you are. Know that wherever you put your focus, the energy flows. So I put my focus into my recovery. I put my focus into recovering from PT struggle, and that energy flowed like a river. And now, I don't know if you can see it, I am Spartan, right? I hope that this was something that was of value for you today, and that's something that you can share with somebody that needs to hear or would benefit from hearing the 2 tips I gave you to overcoming resilient or becoming resilient and overcoming a struggle, because it can happen. You just have to ensure that your mindset's right and you take the first step. I hope this was of value to you today and that you take it to somebody that needs it. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. So take care.